Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jamel from Fantasy Life, and this year we have an unprecedented event. Two titans battling it out for our hard earned cash later on this year. Infinity Ward versus Infinity Ward. Infinite Warfare versus TitanFall. Who will win? For those who don't know what the heck I'm talking about the developers at Respawn Studios. For those who don't know, the developers at Respawn Studios are actually the original developers who created Infinity Ward and are the developers who actually created Call of Duty when Call of Duty was a PC only game. They also gave us some of our beloved games such as Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. The developers at Respawn Studio are those developers. The developers that are at Infinity Ward now are newer developers that took over the company Infinity Ward after the original developers had a falling out with Activision and left to create Respawn Studios. So essentially, we have Infinity Ward versus Infinity Ward going on this year as Titanfall 2 comes out in late October. I believe it's like October 28 or 24 or something like that. And then you have Infinite Warfare coming out early November. They're coming out within like a week apart. So they are definitely going to be battling for our money. On top of that, if you look at both games are relatively similar. They're both futuristic video games, basically futuristic sci-fi shooters. So they're both catering to a similar market, or at least the same market. This is just crazy to me because this is the first time this has ever happened. And on top of that, you have a lot of people looking towards Battlefield 1 because of how awesome this game is. But Titanfall 2 is seemed to be flying under the radar. It's getting a lot of hype. There's a lot of people excited for this game, and especially now due to the fact that it is actually multi-platform, which means it's no longer an Xbox exclusive, which I feel personally is what kind of held back the original Titanfall. One of the reasons that held back the original Titanfall from being as great as it was. But even with that being said, the original Titanfall got very good reviews. It was a very solid first person shooter, and a lot of people enjoyed playing that game. And now, Respawn Studios, aka Infinity Ward, are stepping up the game. They're adding a campaign to this, they're refreshing the multiplayer, and it looks like it's going to be phenomenal. So, my question is this the year Titanfall 2 becomes the premier first-person shooter? Well, it is very possible. Battlefield 1 is getting a lot of hype, but there's a lot of people that kind of are iffy about Battlefield because of all of the problems they had in the past with all of the glitches that Battlefield 4 had when it came out. The debacle with Battlefield Hardline basically not really being a Battlefield game. So there's a lot of negative stigma around Battlefield 1, although this new Battlefield 1 looks like it's going to be amazing. And then you have Infinite Warfare, which is basically going so far away from its roots of Call of Duty that this doesn't even look like a Call of Duty game. In fact, when you first see the trailer, most people didn't even realize it was Call of Duty. They thought it was a whole new different IP. So it's alienating a lot of its original fans, which can be problematic for it in the future. I'm personally a fan of sci-fi shooters, obviously, because I like Titanfall 2, or at least I'm interested in this new Titanfall 2. So the new Infinite Warfare trailer is pretty cool to me. I do enjoy it. I do think it is weird that they slapped the Call of Duty label on it. I think they probably should have just released it as a new IP. It probably would end up performing better that way. But Titanfall started off as a sci-fi shooter. So people already know when they hear Titanfall, they have already a preconceived notion of what to expect. It's like when a new Halo come out, you know that's going to be a sci-fi shooter. So when Titanfall comes out, they know it's going to be a sci-fi shooter. They already have a preconceived notion of what it is. So if by Respawn Studios taking what they did right and improving on it and giving us more, this looks like Titanfall's year, basically, especially now that it is on multi-platform, so it is available to a lot more consumers. I mean, the PlayStation base, Sony PS4 base is up to almost like 40 million right now, which is double the amount of Xbox One, which I think has like 20 million or something like that. And on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, this is also going to be, Titanfall 2 is also going to be released on PC. So they have broadened their customer base, and they're going to see a lot of sales. I mean, Titanfall 2 is getting a lot of good reviews from what they're showing on these trailers. I, for one, have a lot of faith in Respawn Studios because these are the developers that gave me some of my favorite games, my favorite Call of Duty games, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, which is actually still my favorite Call of Duty game of all time. So I have a lot of faith in Respawn Studios. On top of that, they have a pretty decent track record, unlike the new Infinity Ward that brought Call of Duty Ghosts, which wasn't very well received, as well as Modern Warfare 3, which they actually needed help from Sledgehammer Games, because if not, they probably wouldn't have met their deadline. I have a lot of faith in Respawn Studios compared to the Infinity Ward that is at Activision right now. On top of that, Titanfall 1 sold very well, especially being on Xbox One, which didn't have a large customer base at that particular time. And on top of that, a lot of games that year was being compared to Titanfall 1. One example being Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was being compared to Titanfall at every single shot. People were saying that the movement in Titanfall was way better than Advanced Warfare, so on and so forth. I do want to make it clear, I do not own an Xbox One. I never have. I've always been a PlayStation user, so I never really got a chance to dig my nails into Titanfall. But from what I hear, Titanfall 1 was a very, very good game. I mean, it was beating out a lot of the games at its time. Unfortunately, it didn't have the longevity, which the devs heard that. They've heard it, and they are making steps to improve the longevity in this particular game, and I have a lot of faith in them. It was very smart for Respawn Studio to go multi-platform, because now they just broadened their customer base by millions of consumers. On top of that, it was also extremely intelligent for them to now add the campaign mode, because now it allows everyone to experience the campaign mode for the first time. So everyone's going to have the same starting off point. Now, as for Infinite Warfare, there's a chance that they can still have my money, but I got to see what that multiplayer reveal is going to be like. I got to see what that experience is like. As of right now, I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering Titanfall 2. I hope you guys do too. And I do want to let you guys know, this is Jamel from Fantasy Life. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and remember, your life is a fantasy.